It was a grand experiment, the release of a captive killer whale, taken home to Iceland after so many years in an aquarium.
Keiko is just the most amazing whale that's ever lived.
Tonight, the beloved Keiko, Hollywood's Free Willy, is gone.
Now, first for local news, KOMO 4 News.
Good evening. We got the heartbreaking news from Norway tonight. Keiko, the orca whale known to millions as the star of the Free Willy movies, is dead. He died this afternoon in Norwegian coastal waters following the sudden onset of pneumonia. It was quite an experiment when Keiko was taken from that aquarium in Mexico City and then moved on to the Oregon aquarium where he was rehabilitated and eventually set free. Here's KOMO's Joe Furia.
Hard to believe it's been 10 years since so many of us first met Keiko. The star of Free Willy exposed millions to the issue of captive whales back in 1993. The drive to set Keiko free started after he was found sick in a Mexico City aquarium. The project to reintegrate Keiko with a pod of wild killer whales stirred an ocean of interest worldwide.
There he goes.
Seattle's Michael Harris, a spokesperson for the Free Willy Keiko Foundation, says this orca opened people's eyes.
I find Keiko to be a great inspiration, and I know that tens of millions of people around the world do as well, and I'm going to miss him.
Keiko was rehabilitated at the Oregon Coast Aquarium, then airlifted to Iceland in 1998. His handlers prepared him for the wild, teaching him something that to many seemed natural, yet in captivity he'd never had to do: catch his own live fish. Keiko was released from Iceland in July 2002 and swam straight to Norway, an 870-mile trip that seemed to some to be a search for human companionship. He first turned up near a Norwegian village. There he allowed fans to pet and play with him, becoming such an attraction that animal protection authorities imposed a ban on approaching him. At 27, he'd already outlived most whales in captivity, but those closest to Keiko had no idea he was so sick. No idea the end of an incredible story was so close at hand.
No, Keiko actually had been really healthy. He'd been swimming actively, good appetite. It was only yesterday that we started to see any signs of problems. And Keiko was just the most amazing whale that's ever lived.
Well, he didn't live as long as many had hoped, but for 5 years, Keiko managed to become what so many had long wanted him to be: a wild whale. Kathy?
It was quite a story. Joe, thank you very much. The Orca Conservancy says Keiko's death should not affect plans to relocate Luna. That's a young orca whale from Canada who's planning to come home to Washington waters. Luna is living off Vancouver Island. He became separated from his family pod more than 2 years ago, and he's not doing well by himself. He's become a threat to boats and to himself. Canada and the United States plan to reunite Luna with his L-Pod family in the spring.